We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin. As we say in our open, free speech is under attack. In recent days, we've seen the threat rear its head frequently. In China, a correspondent for a Dutch television company got more than he bargained for when he was manhandled while reporting from the Beijing Winter Olympics in a clip that's gone viral. Sjoerd den Das was reporting for Dutch public broadcaster NOS outside the National Stadium, also known as the Bird's Nest in the Chinese capital, where the game's opening ceremony took place Friday night. Den Das was speaking to the camera when he was interrupted by a security volunteer who started yelling at him and tried to pull him out of shot. Another guard appeared in front of the camera and tried to stop the broadcast before the confused anchor in the studio took over. On Twitter, Den Das described the situation, quote, "Just after we had gone live, I was forcefully pulled out of the picture without any warning by a plainclothes man wearing a red badge that read Public Safety Volunteer. He did not identify himself," according to the tweet. He said that at the same time, another man took his team's light installation and that when asked, they couldn't say what we had done wrong. Nancy Pelosi made a statement that U.S. athletes should not speak out against China while they are there. Here's what she said.
I would say to our athletes, you're there to compete. Do not risk incurring the anger of the Chinese government because they are ruthless. I know there is a temptation on the part of some to speak out while they are there. I respect that, but I also worry about what the Chinese government might do to their reputations, to their families.
While we understand that Pelosi is obviously concerned about the safety of the athletes, speaking out against host governments has been part of the Olympics for decades, and the U.S. has never backed down and advised their athletes to stop. This is a frightening turn of events. Meanwhile, NBC is allegedly refusing to air a Republican congressman's ad that criticizes several United States corporations for sponsoring the 2022 Olympic Games in Beijing. Representative Mike Waltz, Republican from Florida, said on Saturday that NBC is refusing to broadcast his Olympics advertisement with Boston Celtics player Enes Kanter Freedom unless U.S. corporate logos displayed in the video are censored. The advertisement lists several U.S. corporations such as Procter & Gamble, Visa, and Coca-Cola. Here's the ad.
Greatest athletic showcase. But just outside the show, rape, genocide, slave labor. American companies are drunk on Chinese dollars, entangled with communist dictators committing atrocities and propping up these genocide games staged by the Chinese Communist Party. And what can we do?
Stand for freedom. Defund the dictators. When you see made in China,
put it down.
Servant Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Corporations have been very open about protesting here in America. Coca-Cola itself supported removing the All-Star game from Atlanta, its home base, over voter rights, which, as the Washington Post had pointed out, was a complete lie. And yet, they refuse to criticize China over literal attempts at genocide and slave labor. Think about that. Now, while we may expect free speech violations in China, we certainly don't expect them in Canada. The Canadian government has been trying to silence the Freedom Convoy protesting vaccine mandates. Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson declared a state of emergency on Sunday in response to the anti-vaccine mandate protest rolling through Canada's capital, saying this declaration reflects the serious danger and threat to the safety and security of residents posed by the ongoing demonstrations and highlights the need for support from other jurisdictions and levels of government. GoFundMe blocked the release of almost $10 million in donation to the Freedom Convoy in connection with the promotion of violence and harassment in Ottawa. Their statement says, "We now have evidence from law enforcement that the previously peaceful demonstration has become an occupation with police reports of violence and other unlawful activity." Now, despite that claim, people reporting from the protest have seen no evidence of any violence or unlawful activity other than civil disobedience. These claims are being put forth by people whose only goal seems to be to stop the opinion of the truckers from being heard. Finally, the attack on Joe Rogan continues. Spotify, to their credit, has stood by Joe Rogan's right to free speech and has resisted calls to remove Rogan from the platform by washed-up musicians like Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, who ironically began their careers by pushing free speech, but have recently apparently switched their opinion, attempting to cancel Joe Rogan. When that failed, anti-free speech activists dug back into episodes of Rogan's podcast to find instances of Rogan saying the N-word. The compilation takes the clips out of context to make Rogan look bad. If you listen to the podcasts, he did not call anybody the N-word. The word came up in conversation with guests about the usage of the word. Rogan said the word instead of saying the N-word because he assumed, since it had already been said by his guest, it was okay with his audience and he could say it. Rogan has voluntarily pulled these episodes from Spotify and apologized for using the N-word. Now, we here at Xvadio stand by Joe Rogan's decision. Joe Rogan is a podcaster, and as such, he has discussions. He does not push a single point of view. He does not limit what his guests say. That is free speech. We stand by Joe Rogan, we stand by Spotify, and we stand by free speech. That's the raw, naked truth. If you have a topic you'd like us to look into, you can contact us at xvadio.com/connect. You can find every episode of Raw Naked Truth, as well as the rest of the Xvadio network, at xvadio.com/podcasts, as well as the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.